Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. Today I'm going to go through some of my jazz albums. Just want to share some of these with you. I've been going through my pop and rock albums and I'd like to share some of my jazz stuff with you and get caught up there. And maybe what I'll start doing is kind of mixing my jazz in and the blues in with the rock and pop. So we have more of a like an eclectic kind of feel to the albums. So I'm going to start today. So just so you know, I'm pretty new to jazz, learning a lot every day. I watch there's the jazz bums that I'm starting to watch those guys and they really get into it, but they do it in a pretty cool way where it makes it easy for you to kind of follow along and understand jazz, and they have such a passion for it that they're always willing to share their knowledge of jazz with you, and they get excited, I guess, when they see you're excited about learning about jazz. So you should check those guys out, Jazz Bums on YouTube. So like I said, I'm new to jazz. When I got into vinyl again, I, I started. I don't know what point I really got into jazz. It's weird. I think I just gave it a try, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I like this. Because never before have I owned any jazz except for maybe a few CDs that a friend of mine gave me, and that's it. But it's just weird that all of a sudden I'm into jazz and checking it out. And I realize what kind of jazz I like and what areas I'm not really that thrilled with, that kind of avant-garde kind of thing that gets really out there and really squeaky and choppy. And I just don't like that. I like more of the hard bop is what I'm understanding is the term for it. That style. The first one I'm going to show you here is one of the first ones that I actually got, and it did start getting me, did start my passion or whatever for jazz. And like I said, I'm still new, so I can't really point out a lot of things yet, but I just want to share these albums with you because every album I do have, I enjoy. And as a beginning jazz person, if you're a beginning jazz person, you might get some ideas from me because this is where I think these albums are good places to start. They always say "Kinda Blue," Miles Davis, so you can start there. Not a bad place, but some of these I think are even better that might get you in jazz a little quicker, in my opinion. So this is something else. I know I've seen a lot of people on YouTube with this one. It's Cannonball Adderley. Got it. You can see right here. You've got Miles Davis, Hank Jones, Sam Jones, and Art Blakey. We'll get into Blakey later, but Blakey is becoming one of my very favorites. I just love everything about Blakey and everything he puts out. I'm getting into. So this is a Blue Note. Yeah, it's a reissue, but it's on Blue Note. So if you are getting into jazz, check out anything that says Blue Note because you really can't go wrong. Any of these Blue Notes that I show you, they all sound great. They sound nice and warm on there, and I enjoy these albums. So there's your back cover. And this is what I like about these jazz albums. They tell the story back there. They give you the personnel and everything on there. So this album, let's see, it is a mastered from the original analog tapes by Kevin Gray, and it features the songs Autumn Leaves, Love for Sale, Something Else, One for Daddy-O, and Dancing in the Dark. So for a new jazz person, this is a good album. I know a lot of people that are in the jazz world like this album. I've seen it brought up many times. The next one here, I'm going to be very honest. Now these I picked up in the music store. This is Chet Baker. This is in New York, and it's on Kraft Records. From what I hear, this is an excellent album. And to be honest with you, I haven't even listened to this one yet. So this is going to be one for me to listen to. I don't even think this bad boy, oh, it's got a sleeve. So I did open it up, but I have not played it yet. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm hearing you don't hear much about Chet Baker in the jazz world from what I've seen, but I guess there's a lot to cover. But I have heard his name brought up a little bit. So this was recommended to me by my local record store guy, so I picked it up. And like I said, it's a Kraft recordings, and I have a couple of these, and those sound good. So I have some faith in Kraft recordings. And it says Chet Baker's legendary 1958 New York session. And yeah, I just love these. I think that even tells you how it works or whatever, the speakers and all that. So it's pretty cool. Some of the explanations they give on these old records are funny, like how they tell you to play it and handle your records properly, and they actually tell you how to take care of your stuff. So it's interesting. So Chet Baker here was, let's see what the personnel was. So you have Chet Baker on trumpet, Johnny Griffin tenor sax, Al Haig on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, Philly Joe Jones on drums. New York, September 1958 is when this was recorded. Next, I have another Chet that I have not listened to yet. So these two were recommended together, and this is another Craft Recordings. The guy at the store said they're good. You know, he had an idea of what I'd listen to, and he said grab these because they're going to go quick. And I haven't seen these since, so I don't know if they're out of stock or hard to get, but I have them. So it's going to be another. These are two good albums right here. I'm gonna be able to put on and kick back with a little drink and listen to. So this is Chet Baker. So on this one, you have Chet Baker on trumpet, Herbie Mann on flute, Pepper Adams on baritone sax, and Bill Evans on piano. And that's a guy I'm learning is a very popular piano player. I have one of his albums, so I'm learning him too. It feels like some of these jazz albums, I do grab them. I haven't listened to them yet, or I listen to them quickly in the store. I grab them because it doesn't seem like they're around very long. So if I like it, I jump on it. So then you have Kenny Burrell on guitar and Paul Chambers bass, Connie Kay or Philly Joe Jones on drums. So that's another Chet Baker, and I think it's just called Chet. So it's another one of mine. If you have any comments about these or anything you'd like to kind of guide me on, here, I'll look at the comments. All right, then we have, this is a little bit of out of sorts, right? It's a Disney album, and you're like, well, why the heck do you have Disney in your jazz? Well, I think they did a really good job on this. It has the old school sound of jazz that I like, and it was John Batiste, and it's jazz compositions and arrangements by him for music from and inspired by Dixie Pixar Soul. Now there's another album that they put out. It's more of a soundtrack, and it's not all jazz. It's mixed up. But I saw this, and I was like, man, let me check it out. And this is good, basic jazz sound. Small groups, 4 and 5, and I really like the sound of this. It's just a good sounding jazz album. It goes in with all the jazz. Just the only difference is you got cartoon characters. But either way, it just sounds, I dig it. I think it's good. Call me crazy. Tell me what you think if you haven't heard this or heard it. But it just sounds like a nice, well put together jazz album. So you should check it out. Maybe I'm going to show you guys something new in the jazz world, or maybe you're laughing at me right now. Who knows? So anyway, I'll never be ashamed of what I like. That's the beauty of music. We all have our Barbra Streisands, right? Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I entertained you with my cool Disney jazz album. Who knows? Tell me what you think about that. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching and being patient with me as I share some of my jazz with you. I'll be going back and going through my rock and pop also. But I definitely wanted to share that with you because I think it's important. And maybe if you haven't checked out jazz, you should, because it's been a real eye-opener for me. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. And hit that like button, subscribe, and leave me comments and all that fun stuff. And until next time, you guys enjoy your music. You take care out there. Bye.